Welcome back. We are here with the BridgeSimton challenge. Once again, it is still the marriage season, and we are going to see what's going on in the Dowding family today. So we are here with Baron Roger Dowding and his family. And he is talking to his son, Seth, right now, and he's basically saying, Seth, you know that our family has been in some financial hardships lately, and we have had a really tough time, and we really need you to get the dowry of a nice, rich, and noble lady, and we need that to happen, now. So because Selena is currently engaged to Eli, currently the only woman available is Madeline. So she is the one, Madeline Templeton, that he has to, get to agree to be his wife. Now, he doesn't have a good first impression of her. They don't have any sort of compatibility, but his father is basically telling him, look, you've got to figure it out because we really need the money and our family is going to be humiliated and embarrassed and blah, blah, blah. So you need to do this for us. I don't care if you don't like her. We just got to make it happen. So that is what he's telling to Seth, and I'm just adding in holidays so that people don't try to go to work and school when I'm using them. But anyway, so he is going to invite Madeline out and head out to her house and see if he can come a call-in. So he is going to come to see her. Oh, there she is right now, but let's go inside. And we're going to try and see if we can't schmooze her a little bit. They're actually pretty good friends, and I don't even know how literally everyone in this game is like BFFs, and I don't know how that happened. But so he's talking to her, and she's like, you know that I'm interested in the king. And he's like, yeah, I know, but, there's still my sister. You still have competition. You might as well at least keep your options open. So that is basically what he's saying to her is like, you never know what's going to happen. Nobody thought that Selena was going to reject the king. So he's just saying to her, I'm an option. Don't forget that I am an option for you. My sister is still an option for the king. Just keep that in mind when you're thinking about your future. So that's what they had. Obviously, they didn't get romantic in front of her family while they were chatting. So we're going to have a dinner party here at the house and try and show that our family is in a really good position. Our family is not running out of money. Our family is, still at the top of its game. As you know, we did roll to lose all our money a few times ago. So that's why we only have 37,000, and honestly, that's not a lot because it's costing like 7,000 to upgrade our estate and stuff. So that is something that he's worried about. And so we're going to have Phoebe try and talk to Arthur here. So they are feeling awkward around each other, and honestly, I don't remember why, but I think it's probably because, so the last time these two were talking to each other, he basically dumped Phoebe for Selena, but now he's been dumped by Selena, so it's kind of awkward for him to come back to Phoebe and be like, obviously you're my second choice and I rejected you in the past, but maybe think of me again. Like that's just awkward. And so they're talking to each other and they're both feeling a little uncomfortable, but I think Arthur also knows that Phoebe is an excellent candidate for queen as well as Madeline. Both of them are good candidates, but Phoebe is like very into the romance soulmate kind of portion of it. She really wants to find a love match, and Madeline is more interested in becoming queen. So I think that that's a difference between the two of them, but Phoebe is trying her best to see if maybe they can rekindle what they used to have the last time that these two chatted with each other. And he actually stayed behind after everyone else left the dinner party, so that's looking pretty good for her. It's looking pretty good. So it looks like they are in an okay spot. Their romance went up a little bit autonomously. I didn't even do that. So it's a possibility. We'll see where that goes right now. So Now we have the family here. It looks like we have Roger just talking to his daughter about how great it would be if she could become queen and all of that, how good that would be for their family. You know, if she was queen, they could probably, get a little something something from her. So he really just needs his children to get good marriages because this family is falling apart. And that is not good. Like, if everyone found out that they were poor, it would not go well for them. They would totally be ostracized from society. So that is an issue. Oh, look, Eli wants to be friends with Seth. That's sweet. I think they could be good friends. Awkward that your two fathers are kind of having a little something something, though. But there is that, if you remember, Roger and Francis have had some woo-hooty calls to each other. But anyway, so now Phoebe is going to try and go out on a date with Arthur. We'll see if we can't spark a little romance. So there's that. And we will get a table and see if there is anything that we can do to get these two to see whether Phoebe or Madeline is a better option for Arthur. Obviously, Arthur is the one who's probably going to decide in the end because he's the one who will be proposing. But, we'll see. I mean, it's possible that the girls could reject him, but it's kind of unlikely that Madeline would reject Arthur. Maybe Phoebe would reject him if she felt like he didn't love her because, like I said, she wants a love match. And she's not really thinking that much about actually becoming queen. She's more thinking about finding a soulmate. So there is that. And we are going to just have these two flirt with each other. It looks like it's going okay, but it's not going too quickly, which is interesting. They're still feeling awkward. So that's interesting. They're still both feeling kind of awkward about the whole situation. And I mean, they have a right to feel awkward about that because that situation is awkward. Like, can you imagine having to go on like a dinner date with someone who already rejected you? And why is Francis here with one of the ladies from the brothel? You need to not do that. But yes, so we're trying to flirt. It's working. I mean, their flirtation is getting up a bit, but it seems like it's kind of stilted. We'll see about that. This is, I guess, where we're going to wrap up the date. So we'll head home now. So back at home, we are going to not become cheerful. Sorry, Roger. We're not going to do that. And for some reason, apparently I just spaced out at that moment. But anyway, we are going to actually have Phoebe come and talk to her mom. So she wants to confide in her mom a bit about what's going on, about how it's not going particularly well with Arthur for some reason. She's going to tell her mom, the first time that we were kind of courting, everything was going so well, and I really felt so in love. But after he, broke my heart, now I just can't really see myself back with him. It just feels like it's not natural anymore. It just feels like it's fake because I know that he would rather be with someone else. So that is kind of what she is having problems with. And Roger kind of overhears this a little bit. So he invites the guys over to the house, and he's like also inviting over the king. And honestly, for his career, we need to get him 2 more friends. So we're going to try and do that. But anyway, so he is trying to become friendly with the king, and in becoming friendly with the king, he's trying to bolster maybe his daughter's position. Oh, Phoebe said she had such a great time with you out on your little date, and blah blah blah. And so, it's not really going particularly well. Like, yeah, they're friendly, but they're not becoming friends. It's just not really happening. Like, it's not increasing very much at all. And I think Arthur is also feeling kind of awkward about it. And he's just like, yeah, no, I had fun too. So he is definitely not super into the conversation. I think probably it's been awkward for him because everybody wants their daughter to marry him. And so he has been having some issues. You know, it probably would have been easier if his father was still alive, but he's not. So what can we do? And we are just going to continue to kind of try and talk to him, and he gets increasingly uncomfortable, where Phoebe is still chatting with her mom and just seeing that. And her mom is telling her, you know, about her relationship with Roger and how they, you know, they were in love, but that doesn't mean it's not work. And so she's just trying to tell Phoebe, like, you know, love isn't always easy. And she tells her, you know, don't think your father and I haven't had some issues, but you know, you have to work through it. If you want it to work, you'll make it work. Blah blah blah. So her mom's giving her that advice, and she is pretty unsure about how she feels. And also, Juliana is starting to get creatively burnt out, but we are going to plan a ball. So we're going to go to a ball, and we'll have everyone come out. We haven't really had a big event yet this part, so we're going to invite everyone over to the ball, and we'll see if things aren't heating up between these two couples. So let's head inside. Everybody come in, and we will try and see if we can't get things going. So again, we have Seth trying to talk to Madeleine, and we have Phoebe and Arthur trying to talk. I didn't even cue that up, and Phoebe and Arthur started to dance. So maybe that will go somewhere, go well. I don't know, but we'll see. And I wanted to get a picture of them dancing, but they didn't give that to me, so I made them dance again so that I could get a picture. But it looks like Margaret is still mad at her daughter for not snagging the king. But Selena is very happy with Eli right now. And I'm trying to get a picture of Seth and Madeleine dancing, but there's so many people around that it's kind of difficult. I don't know why Francis and his son are dancing with each other, but that's fine too. And it looks like we have Selena talking to Phoebe, and I'm also going to have Roger again trying to become friends with the king. But Selena and Phoebe are going to talk, and Phoebe is basically going to ask her, why did you turn down the king? Like, you could have become queen, you could have had it all. I thought that's what you wanted. You know, they're really good friends. So Selena's just going to tell her that, you know, she didn't want to put her dream of being an actress, she didn't want to give up on that. And she's telling Phoebe, you know, the most important thing in finding a husband is to find someone who's going to be your partner, who's going to, you know, fulfill your desires, and not someone who you know, will end up resenting because you had to give up on the things that you love. And so that's basically what she's saying to Phoebe, is that she really feels like she made the right choice because she didn't want to be with someone who wouldn't support her dreams. And so Phoebe is just like wowed by that she would choose that when literally everybody is trying so hard to get with the king, and then Selena turned him down. So, you know, Phoebe also feels a little resentful that Selena got the guy that she wanted and then didn't take him. But and that whole thing with Selena kind of ruined Phoebe's relationship with Arthur, and so she is a little upset about that. She knows it's not really Selena's fault, but it's tough for her, and she is mad that things aren't clicking the way that they did when we were playing in the royal family household. So she's really upset about that. And we're going to try to get Roger to make one more friend. He's almost friends with the butler, so we might as well just do that. But that's where we're going with that. It's also, I changed Winterfest, but, you know, obviously it's not... it's not actually Winterfest. Like, this is supposed to be taking place during the summer. But that's okay. Maybe we can do a couple of Winterfest things. Like, give me a present. Maybe I will make a little bit of money off of presents from Santa. So we'll try that. And we have everyone hanging out and just spending time together. Let's have the kids exchange presents. Very nice. And I also want Phoebe and Seth to talk because, they're both having issues. They're both having issues finding someone, and it's just like is baffling, right? Because everyone else is doing such a good job and is really getting everything they want and all of that stuff. So it's kind of difficult that they they are having a difficult time, and that it's two siblings that are having a hard time. Like, is their family really not good enough for these people? That's something that they're thinking about. So they're just talking about their issues that they're both having, and Phoebe is like, "Do you really want to marry Madeline?" And he's kind of like, "Not really, but I need a wife, and she's as good as any." He doesn't really have these aspirations of falling in love like Phoebe does, but he understands his sister. She basically is telling him that she wants to be in love, and he's telling her that, you just got to go for it if that's what you want. And he's a supportive big brother. And he said, like, as the next head of the household, I'll support you, whatever happens. So, of course, she's still worried that, um, you know, she doesn't want to become less eligible because she doesn't find a husband. So there's that. Anyway, we are going to, now that we talked with Seth about Madeline, we're going to send him out with her to the cafe, the tea house, or whatever it is, and we are going to see if we can't kind of get something going with these two. Because the way that everything will work out nicely is if Madeline and Seth get together and then Phoebe and Arthur get together, that means that everyone found someone. But, of course, that's not necessarily going to be true always. But it looks like their relationship is doing pretty well. They're flirting. It's getting steamy. It's going up pretty quickly, which is great considering they don't really have any chemistry or anything. So there's that. And then Frances is going to come over and be like, look, my daughter is going to become the queen. So I don't want to hear that that you're flirting with her in public or blah, blah, blah. Look at him. He's like, don't even think about it. My daughter is not for you. She's only going to become the queen. And so that is really awkward that her father is getting involved in this courting process. And kind of getting in there. So Madeline is right there, and she's like, look, obviously I think you're cute, whatever, but I'm going to become the queen. That's my first choice. You can be a backup if you want, but I'm not interested in marrying you because I want to be the queen. So she's just being upfront with him. Like, that's her choice, and he can be her backup, but she really thinks she's going to become the queen. So she kind of rejected him a bit there, and it was like, I don't even want to be seen with you because my father's going to get all worked up, and we don't want to start any rumors, because if we start any rumors, then that could put my future marriage in jeopardy, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, we are back home. Mom is still painting, trying to make us some money. We're doing okay with money. I mean, we're doing okay for like a regular Sim family. Obviously, the nobility should have like hundreds of thousands of simoleons, but they do not. So there's that. And we are going to continue to paint and stuff. So, we now got a promotion in the House of Lords. That's really great. That's why I had him go to work today, because I knew that he was going to get promoted. So that is really great. And we are going to have Seth come and tell Roger what happened out at the cafe. He's going to say, Dad, look, I went out with Madeline again, and I'm trying to get that dowry, and I'm trying to help our family, but I just can't. Like, she's not into me. Her father told me that it's not going to happen. And Roger is like, excuse me, Frances, like, told you that? And of course, Roger and Frances are woohoo buddies. So he's going to not be happy that happened. And he's kind of scolding his son for letting the opportunity slip away and be like, look, you should have done something. Like, you should have wooed her better. You should have done a better job. Our family needs this, and you are ruining things for us, and you're going to ruin this family, and you're going to, you're going to be a terrible future lord, baron, whatever. And he's just yelling at his son about how he should have done a better job, and he's like, you should have just kissed her or something so that you could force her to marry you, blah blah blah. And of course, obviously that's bad, but he's so desperate with his family situation that he is willing to do anything. He is so angry right now. Look at him. He is so angry. Their relationship dynamic changed to difficult. It is not good. So they are both just in a bad place. Their relationship is falling fast because Seth is kind of becoming disillusioned about his father. He really thought that his father was like this great guy who, pulled himself up by his bootstraps and was doing a really good job. And it's just really tough. So he's very upset that his father turned out to be kind of a jerk, so he is just going to go upstairs and hide in his bedroom. But Roger is going to, for some reason the cook is here. That's fine, you can cook for us, but the cookie's here and he's making drinks. So Roger is going to have a couple drinks, and then I know at like 10 in the morning, he's going to have a couple drinks. And he is going to call Francis and be like, look, you better get your butt over here right now. So he calls Francis over, and I'm trying to get them to go inside, but they won't, but that's okay. Roger is a bit dazed. So we are here, and he is going to start yelling at Francis. He's going to be like, how dare you tell my son that he's not good enough for your daughter? You rejected my son. Like, what's your problem? And all of this stuff. And Francis is like, look, Francis is trying to be nice at first and be like, look, I mean, he's no king, right? And I want the best for my daughter. But, Roger is just being totally belligerent because he's drunk. And Francis is going to snap back too. And he's going to be like, look, I know about your family situation. I know that your son is no catch. He's got no money. He's got no noble blood. They kind of get into it with each other. He's like, my daughter is going to be the queen. She's not going to be, some poor baroness. And so they are getting in a fight. They're getting in a fight. And basically Francis tells Roger, he's like, even if your daughter does somehow snag the king, it's not going to change anything for you. Like, you're not going to be able to get what you need. And so Roger is like, if I can't get what I need, then I'm going to tell everyone that we were in a relationship, because obviously that's over now. They're very angry at each other. So he's going to say, I'm going to tell everyone about our woohoos. And so they are talking, and basically Francis is like, look, Arthur's not going to pick your daughter, and so Madeline will become queen. And he says, tell your daughter to back off so that my daughter can become queen, and I will help you, and I will help your family. And so he is going to say that he gave him the money tree fruit you saw right there. So they make a deal. Phoebe is not going to pursue Arthur. Madeline is going to become the queen, and no one's going to talk about the woohoos, but he gave him a money tree fruit so that they could gain their money back, so that they can become wealthy again. So Roger is going to be able to get money and get that money back, and build back up his family and be able to find spouses for his children elsewhere. And so they basically agree, Roger's silence for the money tree fruit, because he knows that Phoebe isn't doing a good job with snagging Arthur anyway. So that's basically what's happened, is that he took the money tree fruit, and he's not going to tell anybody about him and Francis. And so he's going to come in here and tell Phoebe, hey, you're not going to do it with the king. And so Phoebe is going to cool off her relationship with Arthur. She kind of was already thinking that it wasn't going to work out with him anyway, because they're really just not doing good in the romance department. They're not able to increase their romance very easily or effectively. So I think that kind of shows us that they're not actually super compatible. And of course she has a crush on him. But yes, and of course Madeline called. She called Seth and was basically like, "Look, I'm sorry." But anyway, so now Juliana is kind of coming up to her husband after this total disaster that was last night and is like, "Honey, what is happening?" So Roger is going to tell her, you know, it's handled. Don't worry about it. We're going to build back up our family as, you know. So that is good. And we see that Lady Whistledown is reporting that Arthur and Madeline are in a relationship. So everybody knows that she's like the next choice for queen anyway. And so they're talking, and Juliana's like, well, okay, why don't we go visit my home country? She's from a different country, and we're going to go visit there and see if we can't talk to some of the upper class people there for matches for our children. So that's what they're going to try and do the next time we're in this household, is find matches in her home country, which I haven't created yet and I don't know anything about yet. So we'll get there when we get there. And also, Arthur kind of makes one last bid, which is weird. You'll see in a second. He asks Phoebe if she wants to be his girlfriend, and she's just like, no, it's not going to work. So he's kind of bumming that it was like awkward. But we will be with the Honeyfields in the next one, and everyone has an engaged partner and that is going to get one. And so we'll have 2 weddings in the next rotation. It'll be great. So I hope that you're excited, and I'll catch you in the next one.